Welcome to the American Classroom Podcast. My name is Jared Taylor, your host, and I'm here with Lindsey Crosland, my co-host today. How are you, Lindsey?
Good afternoon.
We are lucky to have President Kate Smith from Rio Salado College with us today.
Well,
Hello, Kate.
hello, and thank you. Look, I'm jumping in already. I'm so excited. So very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. I knew we needed to get you on American Classroom at our last at the graduation at Rio Salado for the dual enrollment program, which we're going to talk about.
Awesome.
And I just thought I love her enthusiasm for the success of each student that walks across that stage.
Oh, they're amazing, aren't
And
they?
it's great. You could
Yeah.
really feel it.
Yeah. Honestly, I tell everybody, like, if you just want a boost in life, come to a commencement. Come see how successful these students are, because they're truly amazing.
And
I know we're going to get into our dual, but yeah.
Yeah, the stories are amazing.
I know.
Okay, now what year are you in your presidency at the college?
I am in my 8th year.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow, that's
I
gone
know,
by
isn't that
fast.
crazy? I find it crazy, especially because I never intended to become a president of a college. So, yeah,
Well,
it's a
the
journey.
first time I met you was right after COVID, and you were one of the few people who came out to our graduation, and we had some
Yep.
recognition here. We did some remote work, and I'm like, she
That
gets it.
it was
She came out to us instead of us going to her with all the restrictions. So thank you for
Jared.
that.
That was such a special memory. I just think about that. I love that you invited me, that your team invited me to come and be at an in-person graduation ceremony during COVID.
there
Like,
was
it was
so
so
much
special
uncertainty.
that and all those students walked and we got to, that was really precious.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners, we're going to define a couple of things because some of you may know Rio Salado College here in Arizona. Some of you might not. We're going to talk about dual enrollment. We'll define some of those terms as well. So let's start with the college in Maricopa County Community College District. Kate, tell us a little bit about Rio Salado.
Well, thank you. So Rio Salado College was actually a college that was founded in 1978 to remove barriers and actually not to be like traditional colleges. So it was really designed to think about what is getting in the way of people accessing post-secondary education. So with that mindset, Rio began setting up in stores and community centers, etc., teaching classes. And then that evolved over the years to this very large institution. We'll serve over 45,000 distinct
Wow.
learners this year. And we have a large population through our online. We have weekly start dates because we learned early on that for a lot of people, if you miss that September start date, you have to wait till January. And that does not work for a lot of human beings, right, who have very busy lives. So we have a really unique model for our online learners. And then, of course, we embraced, Rio was the first college in Arizona to participate in dual enrollment.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. So being one of the first in the state to actually build the program, build the credibility, and really help change I think, a mindset that said maybe college shouldn't be till after students graduate from high school. And I think over time, people have realized, actually, our high school students are just so capable and so competent and so smart that we've moved, that dual enrollment program has blossomed tremendously.
Because dual enrollment had been around the country for maybe 20 years prior to Rio picking it up, or it had been around before.
Yes, it had been, and nobody in Arizona had not embraced it.
No one picked it up.
And actually, when Rio started, it was written about, and there were a lot of questions as to, is this legitimate?
Oh,
And I
interesting.
think, it is interesting. It's kind of fun to go back and read what people used to say, and now they all also do dual enrollment.
Yeah, I mean, people
'Cause
were
they
earning
just took
college
time to
credits in
learn.
a way through AP tests.
Yep.
It's just a different version of that. And
Yeah,
so, I know
yeah.
there's an age-old argument about AP and dual enrollment, and we're going to throw dual enrollment around. Let's define dual enrollment for those that don't know what we're talking about, dual enrollment.
Yeah.
Kate, you want to Give us a summary of what dual
Absolutely.
enrollment is and what it's not.
Yeah, great. That's great. That is a great way of saying it. So, dual enrollment, the programs that we run as dual enrollment are where we have the high school teacher and students in the high school taking their classes at the high school with the high school teacher. That teacher has been certified, meets the credentials of a college instructor, and they work on the syllabus with the college faculty. The assessments and all of that gets done together so that the high school teacher is like an adjunct faculty member of the college at that point, teaching, but they're teaching that class in the high school. So the high school student signs up and they get both high school credit and they get college credit for that class because they're completing that coursework at a collegiate level while they're in high school. And so there's so many things that I love about this model. I think you both have children who have either taken dual or in dual. So for our listeners, they probably would love to hear your experiences. Um, but I'll say that it opens doors for a lot of students who might not have the confidence around that they can go to college, might not have the confidence that they can succeed at going to college, and being able to have that experience in high school can be a game changer in the confidence level. We also know statistically this really matters because we have learners that um, across the country, we can see in the data that students who take any dual enrollment courses have higher completion rates in college, higher GPAs in college, not even including their dual courses, and they have higher. There was a recent study done across the state of Texas that showed higher annual earnings 6 to 12 years after high school.
It's a big deal.
I mean, it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah, those are helpful stats, especially as
Yeah.
we talk to parents about it.
Yeah, it is a game changer. And obviously they go to college at much higher rates too. So,
Well, the mindset of Rio just started with innovation.
yes.
And credit to you and your team.
Thank you so much for that. We stay very focused on that. So I'm a big believer that culture is really what then drives an institution to be able to continue to be agile, flexible, hence be able to innovate in new ways. And as our world is changing right now so quickly, right? We have our faculty on the forefront of thinking about how do you teach with artificial intelligence? What does learning mean with, generative AI and agentic AI coming to the forefront? What are those jobs, right? How are we working with our employers to understand those future states? So it's really in the DNA to be constantly meeting our learners where they are, whether that's our dual enrollment students, whether that's our students who are at businesses, our students who are incarcerated, our students who are at a distance across the country, sometimes across the globe, military serving anywhere in the world. So it's really remaining grounded in meeting our learners where they are and anticipating their needs and the needs of the future workforce.
Yeah, and I think some people don't understand the value of it, and that's okay. But I like Jared years ago explained what dual enrollment is and how it helps families, and then the money that's saved by taking college courses because it's significant. You still pay for your college credit, but it's a significant discount in high school. But that, a lot of high schools have the approach that, well, we'll just get them ready for college and then, whoop, there you go. Good luck, go to college. And that our students are starting college in high school.
Yeah.
And so they don't need that extra push to be like, oh, I can go to college, I can do it. They're already in college and they can have the confidence that I'm capable. I can do it. It doesn't have to be scary. I'm actually
Right.
already a college student.
Yes.
And so,
Yes, Lindsay, yes.
College now.
college
Why
now.
not?
Great.
Yeah, college now. And it's, I don't know how you talk to parents who are like, well, I don't know if my high school student is going to be ready, or how you help families feel like their student is prepared for that. I know it was a little intimidating. My daughter is a sophomore, but as a freshman last year, she started with one dual enrollment class in physics. And so essentially that's a physics 100 or whatever the equivalent is. I don't remember the number, but an honors physics class as a freshman. And I'm like, okay, you're just starting high school and you're going to be in college. Okay. Like, I was like a little nervous,
I'm gonna breathe.
for her. But I think just having like starting with one class and then building over, the course of her high school career will be helpful. But I was like, oh, wow, it's very, it is intense, it's rigorous, but
Mhm.
she's totally capable. And so it helps us, them gain confidence, the
Yeah.
parents gain confidence.
Right, right. Which is equally important, right? Yeah. And then we have some families where parents might not think that their son or daughter is ready for it simply from their own upbringing, their own experiences. And so we love to work with those families and help them have an experience and say, oh, that same experience. Oh, okay. They can do college. Just because we have different places where folks feel like college is, that's not for us. That's not
Yeah.
for our family. And it's really great when they can start to just taste it because we know in the long run, it does matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Lifetime earnings, fighting generational poverty, all of those things are very real, and college matters, and
Yeah.
learning matters.
Right.
So,
And it's like the old Harvard president said, if you think higher ed is expensive, try living without it.
yes, I'm gonna use that
That's
quote.
that was a good, but it's
I
been
wish it
a
had been
long
mine.
journey for us, and it wasn't always, we didn't get it early on. Dr. Vernon Smith, he's
Yep.
been on our podcast before,
Oh.
and he's still innovating, doing great things. And years ago, he said, "Hey, Jared, you gotta take a look at this thing called dual enrollment." And there was another person on his staff named Royce, and he's like, "Yeah," and he was one of the program managers, and I just thought it was kind of noise
Yeah.
in the K-12 space. I was like, I don't know, it seems like it would be distracting. I didn't quite get my head wrapped around it. My father, who is the original founder of Heritage and was currently the principal at the time, he was on an airplane with a former state legislator named Rich Crandall. And they were going back and forth and talking about K-12 stuff. Rich had a great passion for education. And he's like, Earl, are you guys doing dual enrollment? And he's like, no, what's that? Anyways,
Yeah,
so my
yeah.
dad came back and he's like, Jared, what's this thing called dual enrollment? I go, I don't know. This guy named Vernon keeps talking to me about it. Maybe I should pay attention. He's like, well, bring him in and have him teach us what this means and let's see if it's.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was how it all started. And then when Vernon came and just unpacked this, they're like, wait, what? What did you just say? It just started, the lights went on.
Yeah,
And his passion for higher ed, it's just super great.
I know.
So then I said, okay, come teach me. And I asked them the question. I said, who is the gold standard of this? And they said, Sister Joni at Xavier. I go, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Sister Joni at Xavier. And
Yeah.
Xavier, for those not in the Phoenix area, is a Catholic girls' school. Excellent school. They do
Yep.
wonderful things. And I said, can you ask her or can I see if I can go meet her and learn from her? And so anyways, what happened is they went over to Sister Joni and they said, oh, this little charter school in Mesa wants to learn about what you're doing. Apparently they'd been doing this successful program for 20
Yeah,
years.
it's amazing. Yeah.
And I
They-
said, I just want to learn. Can I just go say hi and spend an hour with her and learn? And she says, no, he doesn't need to come. I have a file for him.
No.
And so
Did
they
she
brought this-
really?
Yeah, she put this little file together.
I didn't know this part of the
And there was only like 2 pages in the file. And she's like, this is everything he needs.
Wow.
And just say, we just do a 4-year plan and here's my worksheet.
Oh
And
my
so they brought
goodness.
the file to me and they said, oh, this is all they do. I go, no wonder it's so successful. It's simple.
Yeah, right.
Shouldn't complicate things.
Right, right.
And so another funny story about that is it wasn't last year, but it was a couple years ago. And I was in the front row because I had an Achilles rupture. And so they gave me like the wheelchair access. You had announced the number of associates from Xavier and the number of associates from Heritage. And she was kind of walking by at the time. And she turns and she recognizes me and she winks and gives me a thumbs up.
Oh, she's the
And
best.
I don't know how she made that connection or knew who.
Yeah.
I think you had to stand up or something like
Yep,
that. But
yep.
and I said, hey, you're the one that taught me.
Aw, that's
And that's
great.
how we took her
Her playbook.
simple little playbook. Yeah, it was just 2 pages and it was a 4-year plan.
Wow.
And I thought, that's genius. That is
Yep.
so genius. It's so simple. And
Yep.
so we just started putting the pieces together, and maybe another time I'll tell you, we did this deep dive strategic plan about over 5 years. How do we get to where Xavier did in 25?
Oh my gosh.
Because it
And look at where you are.
and it happened.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
think-
goodness.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think another, as I like reflect on the dual enrollment program, one of the formulas for success is having really amazing teachers at your school
Yeah.
that are these adjunct faculty, as you say, but they're the full-time staff of the high school. So
Yep.
like where my daughter's attending, the teachers are amazing. And so they're really good at teaching the curriculum. And so, you know, she can't compare it to who's teaching physics at Rio right now, right? Or the different online instructors. You probably have a lot of instructors, but it's really great when they're taking that program and then the teachers at the high school who are really excellent, you know, they're the subject matter expert as well, and they can deliver it in a way with the understanding that these are 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right, year olds
Yep.
who are learning this content. And so I think that's another important piece of the formula.
And if I can jump in, Lindsay, what I love about that is not only are they subject matter discipline experts, but they're trained and experts in teaching and learning. And so that, you know, often at colleges, especially at like the big R1 universities that are fabulous and research is needed for everything, but the faculty are not taught in how to teach, right, in pedagogy or andragogy. And so having that duality in your high school teacher is really pretty powerful. And that also then helps those learners build that confidence again, and they can do college, they can learn how to start learning more and more independently. So if they do go on after high school to any college, I mean, I hope everybody comes to Rio, but to any college anywhere, that they'll be that much more successful because they've learned how to learn at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. I agree with you. Those teachers are amazing. But I'm wondering if people listening might be interested in what you're doing with your success coach, because I think it's fabulous.
Well, first off, they partner with your team,
Yeah.
right, with Dr. Anderson's team, because then
Well,
they can.
I can fill that part in if you want.
Oh,
So
please.
at Rio Salado College, we have a whole dual enrollment staff. And we have coordinators that work with different schools. And we implemented, because we started seeing this interest in our high school learners to complete a degree, which again still just blows my mind because it was just the furthest thing from my mind when I was in high school, right? So as we saw that need growing, we invested in success coaches at the college who could then go and sit with high school students and their families and plan out how they could actually, well, what pathway they might be interested in, help them get on a pathway, and if they wanted to complete a degree while they were in high school, to what it would take to be able to do that. But you all,
So we just took the same concept and brought it in-house.
yeah,
Because your staff just didn't have enough bandwidth to cover everything. So we looked at what people, well, first off, we built the 4-year plan based off Sister Joni's model.
yeah.
And so we knew what credits needed to be taken, what years. And then in
And
8th grade,
so just
please.
to clarify what the 4-year plan is. So it's to take a series of these dual enrollment classes through Rio during their high school program to earn an associate degree when they graduate from high school.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Thank
I just want to, we talked about 4-year plan, but what it is actually a path through high school, diploma and associate degree at the same time.
Because we found that they were taking largely all the classes they needed, except for things like maybe COM 100 or a couple of other little things. And we were 80% there with just our regular high school diploma.
Yeah, yeah. And then what I find great value for families, and what I hear is great value, is whether it's a transcript of just some courses that students take, or it's the degree, it all transfers around the country.
That's
So
huge.
if somebody completes the 2-year degree and they want to go locally to ASU, U of A, or they want to go across the country to the University of Rochester or wherever in the country that they want to go, it transfers as a degree.
It's
So they
powerful.
just walk in and they're already at junior level status. And the financial savings, is amazing. But in addition to not paying for those first 2 years at that higher price point, it's also that those learners get lots more scholarship dollars.
Because
So that's an
they're
additional
freshman
benefit.
status,
Yeah,
so they still get their freshman scholarships even though they have a junior level of credit,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
huge.
yep. And because the schools know they've
Yep.
already completed a college degree, they know they're, I don't know how else to say this, it sounds wrong, a safe bet, right? Right, to
Yeah,
invest in that learner because you know they're
I
gonna
like
be
that.
successful already at your college.
My daughter at ASU, she's studying history and she wants to be on your staff as a dual enrollment
Oh,
teacher. How do you like
yes!
that?
Woo!
So, but she landed a 4-year scholarship, but she went in as a junior,
Yeah,
but it was a freshman scholarship. So
wow,
she just used the extra 2 years to pay for grad school that she's doing right now,
that's amazing.
and she's
That's amazing.
loving it.
I know, did
I mean,
everybody hear that?
it's I know, and it
Those extra 2 years went to grad school, like,
for family
it's amazing.
for my family, it cost roughly $5,500 over 4 years
Uh-huh.
for the associate's degree. That is a huge savings. I don't know if if
For
Dr.
2
Anderson
years of college,
for 2 years of
yes.
college, yeah, because it was spread over 4
Different,
years,
yep,
so it's super affordable.
yep.
And we estimated about $12 million our family saved
Hmm,
with the credits that they earned through the partnership here
yeah.
every year with all of our schools. That's some serious
For
value.
families, just in one campus or
All
across
the
multiple
schools, all the
campuses? Okay.
heritage schools. If you look
That's
at
a
all the
12 million
credits,
savings.
I
Awesome.
think you looked at the number we earned, what, 15, 16,000 credits?
Yeah, 15,900 credits taken just this last school year, the
Uh-huh.
24-25 school year, within the Heritage Academy high schools.
Oh, and we do that in a 4-day block.
Yeah, 4 days.
A 4-day block.
That's
We
amazing.
only
I
go
don't
to
know the
school Monday through
numbers.
Thursday.
I think it was
Yeah,
there was
okay.
over 60. How many? Do you remember how many Rio Salado associate graduates were at the graduation in May?
Okay, so let me just tell you this. Heritage Academy, 2015, you had your first graduates from Rio with a college degree at the time of high school
Oh,
graduation.
and guess what? That
Good.
person now teaches dual enrollment for us.
Come on.
How do you like that at our Gateway campus?
No, really? I love
Yep.
this so much. Okay, so that's amazing. So 2015, you had 2 students. 2025, you had 221 students who graduated with a college credential at the same time. I like to say at the same time. I guess it's technically like a week before their high
Yeah,
school
yep.
graduation.
Even before, I know that's even,
Maybe it's a couple weeks before the high school
Yeah.
Yeah,
graduation.
it is like a
but
week
yeah,
before. Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
And
great.
if you want to know, I have the numbers.
Yeah.
Heritage Academy has earned, students who have graduated from Heritage Academy have earned 966 total college credentials
Hmm.
since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Wow.
that's impressive. And
Wow.
a total of 90,233 college credits earned,
Wow.
which again matters.
It's amazing.
I mean, we can celebrate it because, great, but it matters for every one of those families. Like, it's a game changer.
It is.
That's why it matters, right?
Well,
Again, it's the confidence, it's the understanding that I can go to college, I can be successful in college. It's the understanding of higher completion rates, higher GPA, higher median earnings. There's so much that is good in it. That's why we get so
That's great.
excited.
It is.
Right? It's the good.
Well, it's
some
so-
families might not know about the dual enrollment program when they come to our school. And see, they're coming because it's a smaller, safer school, that we're history focused, patriotic, whatever, maybe a friend's coming here. And then when they learn about it, but quite a few of our families are first generation diploma, like high school diploma families. And so when we get to explain that they're going to take some college classes and earn college credit while they're in high school, that's a huge, I think it's so excited. It's such a level up from
Yeah.
what they were expecting by bringing their child to a Heritage Academy school. So
That's awesome.
there's a variety of demographic that we serve through all of our campuses, and it's really neat to see how it's blessing so many lives.
Well, and I love that you, as schools, as a system of schools, have just chosen to build this in so it's not accidental, it's not by chance, it's that it's built into students' pathways so that every learner has that access and that opportunity. And that's really impressive to me, to not just, if you happen to hear about it, you get to benefit. You make it so they all hear about it. And then we work together on raising scholarships for students who can't afford it. That we have families that is too much money, and so we just keep raising and we just keep raising money, right?
Every now and then, Dr. Anderson will call me and they're like, "You guys get too much scholarship money."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, we don't. We have more people that have the need." So
Right,
that
we are, yeah, because
there's a need.
Yep.
The college is so generous to help
Yeah.
these people. You're really solving the two structural problems in higher ed, which is affordability and
Mhm.
accessibility. And this really hits both
Both
of
of
those
those.
at a time probably when it's most needed.
Yeah, and if to anybody listening, like, I hope one of the things people are taking away is just the importance and the value of that partnership, that we're doing this together, right? To really address both of those long-standing issues of affordability and accessibility.
And that's an important point. I
Yeah.
was in a meeting the other day, and it was so funny because, the fifth grade teachers were mad at the fourth grade teachers because they're not prepared, and the colleges are upset that the high schools aren't prepared. We okay, fine. We can have that discussion if you want. We can
Yeah.
do better. The fact is, the collaboration, working together, is so much better than the competition
Yep.
or trying to
Yep.
point fingers at each other. Let's work together on it.
Right.
This solves this solves that problem.
Speaking of working together,
Yeah.
um, it is rigorous. It is rigorous to have college classes in high school. So what does Rio Salado do? How do they support these high schoolers who are trying to juggle, you know, everyday life, their other classes, and their dual enrollment classes? Like, what do you support as that partner?
That's a multi-pronged answer, Lindsay. So there's some of the basic supports that all students have access to who come to Rio Salado College or any college, right? So there is tutoring access. In the high schools, there are already counselors because often there's just personal concerns where having counselors is very helpful to a learner at some point on their journey. So they have access at the college, but generally they have access at the high school. Um, they they have access to the success coaches slash advisors to help with just what to do, when, how, all of that. They have access on the how to get into dual enrollment and get through it. Um, but I think really important that I want to highlight that I don't really hear people talk about much is the relationship between the faculty and the high school teacher. So the full-time faculty at the college and the high school teacher who partner together, because they work. I mean, I'm amazed at some of the relationships between those two and how they work together to figure out, okay, this isn't working well, in this class. What could we do differently that can support these learners in new ways? And so I think that back and forth and that support between both entities, I see it as they're really informing each other all the time back and forth about what's working, what ideas, where do we need to change to support those learners.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
And the college is good to keep the standard high. They're not lowering it for high school
absolutely
audience.
not.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah,
We want
yeah,
them to step up, and they want
yeah,
that too.
yeah. Because that's the only way then that it's real for them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how they have confidence then. If it was, I mean, that would be the integrity of a college, right? If you lowered your
Yeah.
standards. But more importantly, it's what really helps a high school student be like, oh, I can go to college.
Right. Imagine
Right?
if they
Because
dumbed
they
it
know
down
they're
and they
doing, yeah, they know they're really doing college level work. And
Let's talk a little bit about this a cultural I don't know, episode I guess that we're in about doubting the value of higher education.
yeah,
Um for sometimes it's for political reasons or usually it's somebody's pushing an agenda when they want to downplay higher education and you know nobody's perfect. Higher ed, we all have things to
Yep,
work on. But how do you
absolutely.
process that when you start to hear some of that chirping about, skip college, just start a business, or it's all about tech, not about academics? And how are you processing that?
I mean, probably in a few different ways. One, I think higher ed needs to listen, right? As a sector, we need to hear, like, why are people saying this? So, and make sure we're not missing. It might be somebody's own agenda, but what might we be missing? So I do want to say that in
Sure.
fairness,
Yep.
but underneath that, I always respond. Let's look at the data. I mean, let's look at the numbers. So, um, if you because I get there's the exceptional person here and there who starts their own business and becomes a millionaire
Sure.
with no college. And that's amazing and that's great. But when you met one of those people, you've met one of those people.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that's the norm for society, right? It doesn't mean it's our norm at all. And if you look at the actual data, you will see that it matters in earnings. If you only get a high school diploma, you're much lower on those earning scales for throughout your life versus some college versus an associate's degree versus a bachelor's degree versus a terminal degree. And so I just think it's important that we go back to some of those basics, like higher ed really makes a difference. Post-secondary education makes a difference in fighting generational poverty, in addressing how we're going to have thriving communities in our country, right? Like these things matter. Um, I think when you look at incarcerated, let's just take that as an example of a population, that if you actually look at what happens when we invest and we provide education for our incarcerated learners, you look at the reduction in the rates of recidivism, you can turn that into the economics behind that and how much better it is for economically for society. But beyond that, again, that's generational impact because they come out, they continue their education, they become contributing taxpayers, members of society, their families succeed, communities succeed, right? So higher ed just it really makes that difference. Um, and if we're again, but higher ed also needs to listen to those, right? So where are we missing it with industry? Where are we missing it with people in general who are saying, does this really matter?
Yeah.
And why is that, their thinking so that and I think we're doing a good job right now. Higher ed is changing. Um, I think community colleges have an advantage of being maybe having had a history of being more flexible and agile and quicker to change, which can help us in today's kind of more skill-based economy. But that post-secondary learning is always gonna matter. Like, no matter what you call it, it's always
Right.
gonna be a difference maker in an individual's life, in a family's life, in a community's life.
Got to push the boundaries
Yeah,
of
I mean,
discovery and yeah.
you can tell I feel very strongly about this.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Good thing.
Well, the fact that you led with
It's
listening that's powerful. That's super powerful,
Mm,
right?
thank
What
you.
can we learn? And
Yeah,
because there's some truth in some of the arguments, and there, just
right,
sift with.
right.
That's the whole essence of criticism: is separating fact from fiction,
Well, and isn't
signal from noise.
I mean, how ridiculous would it be if higher ed isn't listening, right? I mean, higher ed should be about how do we engage with each other civically, right? How do we have disagreements? How do we hear each
Yeah.
other, right? Like that's the beauty,
Well, the
right, of
definition
our
of
world.
university is university,
Yeah.
one out of many.
Yes.
Right. I
There we
mean,
go.
it's
There we go.
the whole essence of the university
Yeah.
is many disciplines. We're going to come together to do great things.
Right. Right.
Well,
I
in
love
your college, I wouldn't say this is like particularly unique, but serves what, 18 to 80 years old,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So anyone at any stage that wants to continue their education,
Mhm.
they can.
Yes.
It's not limited to just, the 4 years after high school or the 6 years after high school ever. So I think that that's in itself, people want to improve, people want to learn, they're coming for more information and seeing its value in their maybe not just earnings, but their own personal life.
Yep. Yes. And we do have learners. It was funny. I was meeting with a superintendent. Um, And I started to tell it was our first time we had met locally, and I was starting to tell him about Rio Salado College. And he kind of snickered, and I looked at him and he's like, I've been taking classes with Rio for 20 years.
That's
He's like,
funny.
I just love it because the system works. It lets him just enroll when he can, complete a class when he has time.
So
It's that,
great.
that model just works for somebody who wants to do what you just described, Lindsay, that just continuous learning. But if we also look at how jobs are changing so quickly right now, again with Gen AI, agentic AI, who knows with quantum computing on the way. Um, I think the latest from the World Economic Forum is 60% of jobs within 5 years are going to need reskilling and upskilling. So I think post secondary ed is just changing dramatically. And we talk a lot about just many more on ramps and off ramps, but in purposeful ways. So every time you have an on ramp, whatever you're there to complete, learn, and now we often refer to some of those, I call them chunks, some of those chunks of learning as micro credentials. They build, right? So you're always building towards that a degree or, your next degree, your next credential of some kind. But because we know those still matter in your earnings, like it matters. So, but just making it so that it's very purposeful, people can come and go. And I think we used to have the model for so long of higher education is graduate high school, you have 4 years, you get a degree, and then you do career. And that is no
Don't
longer
look
gonna
back.
be the
Yeah.
case. Yeah, it's
No.
just not gonna be the case anymore. And so that's where it's just now post-secondary ed is just gonna weave in and out of careers, I think, as we move forward. And that's where and now I'm just going on, sorry. I don't mean to
No,
bore
that's
anybody
great.
who's listening.
No,
But
that's
that
great.
industry piece then becomes fundamentally important, right?
Yeah.
Because industry is changing so quickly. So that's where that weaving in and out of career and higher ed and industry needs to be lockstep, right? So we're always preparing as things are changing, we're preparing the workforce
I
correctly.
think it's important.
I love that.
I was going to ask where are we headed? And I mean,
Yeah, I
you
think
already answered that.
okay, that's where I think we're
Yeah.
headed.
Well, and that's the
In
mindset we
which,
have to have. Always a learner, always a student,
yeah,
because things are changing at an accelerating rate.
yeah.
And if you don't have access to a college or another learning platform that will keep you current on it, you're going to get behind super fast.
Right.
And
And it's
make
gonna
sure you have a whole
change.
stable of those learning platforms at your and and Rio Community College is one of those you definitely want to have.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I don't mean to just take us on a tangent, but another piece of this that's going to be really important in higher education and post-secondary education and probably K-12 education if we really go into it is that with a world changing to have artificial intelligence in it in the ways that Gen AI and agentic AI can now bring that intelligence in, where and how are we making sure that we're teaching critical thinking, right, and assessing for it? So I think how learning happens and then how we're assessing it is all going to be changing, in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And we're going to see, I think everybody's still figuring it out
Yeah.
because, that is just change that's everybody is working through, hopefully together, because it really matters.
I
So,
remember it. So I did my undergrad in the late 1900s.
yeah.
And the internet was just making its surge at the time, and I don't know why I remember, but one of my favorite people to read is Michael Porter, who's
Hmm.
the great strategist out of Harvard's Business School, and he just clarified the internet's role in because everyone was like, "It's going to change everything. It's going to change,"
Yeah.
and it just trying to freak everybody out to sell this product or that product or whatever. And he made the point in his HBR article that it's just going to accelerate the existing supply chains and consumer behaviors and things like that. It's not going to necessarily change human nature. It's not going to necessarily, destroy things, right? Because at the time, well, all retail is going to be destroyed now because everybody's going to buy everything on the internet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
remember all the
Yeah.
fears
Yes.
of all that,
Yes. Yep.
and he just says, listen, it's just accelerating
Mm.
the existing supply. You're still going to have value chains, still going to have supply chain, still going to have consumer economics. those underlying things of a civil society still persist.
Right.
Now you just have a catalyst called the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's a perfect analogy, but I think it's a great way to not be afraid of AI.
Right. Right.
Or
Absolutely.
right, it's just another catalyst, but consumer behavior is still going to be the same. Human relations are still going to be. We still need to be kind and nice. Value chains and supply chains are still going to exist. Maybe they'll take a little different form,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have some of those basic underlying things. But now you have a new accelerant or a catalyst to do good things with.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I just think in education where it's going to hit differently is, and I use the example of the internet. We did teaching and learning did change tremendously because at first it was nobody could use the internet, right?
Oh yeah.
And now there's no teaching and learning that doesn't happen without an expectation that people are
Yeah.
using the internet to look things up. So it's that component in education that
Or people
I think
say
we're just
all
figuring
teachers
out
are going to
what's
be
this
eliminated.
mean? Like what? Yeah,
Right.
no,
Yeah,
I don't.
there's not going to be
Yeah.
any teachers.
Yeah.
AI is going to replace all teachers with chatbots.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, do you want to sit and get a bachelor's degree from a chatbot?
Right,
I
right.
don't.
I heard somebody from the Institute for the Future who said, that his belief is AI won't replace teachers, but people who know how to use AI will replace teachers who don't. And I thought that was a pretty,
Yeah, that's
right? Like
insightful.
it's just about you got to learn how to use this tool now because it's here and
And we
students are
actually
using
came
it.
out in our
Like,
handbook last year with an AI statement.
did you?
Yeah,
Good
and
for
it's a
you.
tech forward statement. Here's how we want to use AI, but
Right.
we're going to do it in a way that's not going to compromise academic integrity. We're going to,
Yeah.
and we outlined a basic framework after we studied probably 4 or 5 AI frameworks from both universities and also global
Oh, I love that. Jim.
organizations. And we're like, you know what? We're going to put a flag down of what we
Yeah.
stand for,
Yeah.
that we are tech forward, but in a safe, responsible way.
Yeah.
And we actually are launching a training for our teachers of how to bring AI into the classroom,
Oh, that's
and
great.
how to use it in a responsible way,
Right.
so that our scholars are not taking this position like, oh, it's bad or it's going to destroy the, it's here.
Right. We just have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And we have
think
to learn how to use it and
I
keep it
think we're in
safe.
that space right now. At least I
Yeah.
see it like this last week. My daughter was just like stuck on an essay and she just could not get started, just trying to think of a theme. And I was like, why don't I just pull up ChatGPT and we'll just say, what are some themes
Get a
to kind of
prompt.
brainstorm? And she's like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'll get an F if I even, if you even. And I was like, we could use it as a thought partner just to
Yep.
like
Yep.
brainstorm pull some themes out of it, right? I'm like,
Right.
you've read the book, you know it, just to get some thoughts, but like we
Yeah.
just had to do it independently because she refused. So I think some teachers are just like, don't you dare.
Yeah. Well, there are schools that are saying no AI, and I you can do that for a while, but it's not going to last. Oh, I mean, it is just here and very present, right? I mean, we've had
Yeah,
artificial intelligence
but-
for a very long time,
yeah.
right? I mean, Siri, Alexa, so
But just to like incorporate it and
Yeah.
use it in an ethical
and teach
and
people
in
how
a good
to
way,
use it
so that
ethically.
you're still practicing critical thinking. You're still pulling
Yes.
things from, whether it's writing an essay in a novel you just read, like pulling from it.
Yep.
But at least being able to like bounce ideas off of it or like start
Right.
with like some bullet points or something just to kind of help them, especially students who struggle. Say you hate writing,
Yeah.
just to like get started and get out
Right.
some ideas. And
I was excited that one of our faculty chairs who do the curriculum in our model, it's a one course, many sections model for our online learners. And so the chair is responsible for the curriculum. So every section, they kind of build out the shell of the curriculum for every faculty member then who uses it and teaches students in it. And so, as she's been struggling through this time of like trying to have students not just use AI for every assignment and, just end up in this problem because of it. She developed a module that will now I think the fact that we're going to put it in all courses of just how to use artificial intelligence, how to use it responsibly, ethically, how to cite it,
Oh, great.
and how to use it as a learning partner, not as a cheating tool, right?
Substitute.
Not because what's the point? In fact, when I taught mathematics for a lot of years,
Oh,
and I used to tell my students, like, here's all the answers to your homework. If you're just gonna
yeah.
write down answers, don't bother because you're wasting just energy. Like, there's no point. So you have them all. I want you to have them because I want you to try and learn and look at the answer and come back with questions. And, to
It's like the
me,
calculator debate. Do you teach math with the
yes,
calculator?
that's how, yes,
If you're writing with
exactly.
AI or not,
Yeah, yeah. And so teaching people to use AI that way is just a help
Yeah.
to process and learn and understand it. We have one student who was telling us, we did a panel with students, and actually it was a couple of them said they use it to say, like, I did this problem and I don't understand why I'm getting it wrong. And so then they can use AI to like talk them through it and then they
Absolutely,
try
yeah.
again. It was like, that's
Great.
that's great, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
as opposed to here, write my paper for me and make it look like I'm a college student who's a C student, right? Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Which gets us nowhere.
So how do you see AI changing, or like, how do you need to make changes in curriculum now at the college level based on advances in AI?
I mean, honestly, I talked to my faculty about this and we've had this conversation more than once that my heart is so heavy for them right now because they're right at the crossroads because they are working on it and they are changing things dramatically in their courses, but as quickly as they're changing and figuring out how to integrate artificial intelligence in responsible, good ways, how to maintain critical thinking, how do we assess, like they're working on all of it. But what I keep pointing out is, but we don't actually know how the field of sociology is going to look different yet, or how the field of psychology, or, you know, how are professionals going to be using artificial intelligence in 3 years in any of the disciplines to know how to better prepare learners for that, right? Like we know our learners need to get artificial intelligence skills. That's like that's a no-brainer in hiring right now. There's all kinds of studies out there that we can look at about that. So clearly teaching students how to use it, which isn't going to take much longer because I think by the time within a few years, all of our K-12 students are going to come to us more fluent than we are, right? As is general with technology. So I just think we're adapting. We're trying to be proactive, being immensely proactive, recreating assignments so that they use AI. Find where AI is wrong in this, right? Ask AI and tell me where it's wrong or why it's wrong, or where it's right and why it's right. So they're working so hard, my heart just goes out to them. Because at the same time, we know it's going to still, we're not like over some hump where now we can adjust curriculum and we're good to go for 5 years. Like it's just going to keep moving a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and like every day
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
accelerating.
So when you think about what the future, like how does the job of a nurse change, right? It's changing. And that's what's wonderful about our adjunct faculty, because we have over 1,000 adjunct faculty, and many of them are full-time professionals in the field that they're teaching for us. And so they are talking to our faculty chairs about just real time what's changing at whatever business or in law or in, you name the discipline, how their own jobs are changing. And so that helps inform curriculum in real time, like crazy
I
amazing.
think it's exciting.
It is. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm
overwhelming.
excited, and now you can tell. I'm like, oh, it's a lot.
I know it is. Some people, it'll stress people out, and I feel it too when you're in this ambiguous environment.
Yeah.
But in other ways, it's super exciting and it's fun to lean into it a little bit,
Yep.
and hopefully people know this is how you learn and grow both individually as a society, but all the more reason to have access to good knowledge partners
Yep.
that you can work with to continue to stay current at whatever platform that might be.
The other thing that I always share with people, because we started this journey right at the launch of Gen AI, or the launch of ChatGPT, and we just started talking at the college as an entire college about, look, some are terrified. Some think this is the end of the world. Some are so excited they're trying everything possible, right? And people are all in between on that spectrum. And wherever you are on that spectrum, it's valid, right?
Yeah.
Because like any other tool, like the internet, I don't know about the graphing calculator, but big tools like the internet, yes, they can be used for really bad things, and they are, right? So it's, yes, AI could be used for really bad purposes,
Sure.
but that's no different than any other technology we've developed in this world, right? So not to let that fear of it stop us. Let's help mold it. Let's learn about it, and let's
It could be used for a lot of good too.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go use it for
So let's
good.
shape it
Solve
that way.
problems.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, this is
Absolutely.
great. This is a wonderful conversation that we've had. The whole point of the American Classroom podcast is to just discuss what's going on in the K-12 space,
Mhm.
specifically in how it can build a civil society.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
And we just wanted that conversation to flourish.
Mhm.
And this has been wonderful because the idea that people have more access to higher education, to not be afraid of it, I hope
Yeah.
people take this away. I hope school leaders that are listening to this, or policymakers, if you're on a school board, lean into the AI, lean into the dual enrollment, these knowledge partners, expand your catalogs. Don't be afraid to call and ask Sister Joni for some tips, because there's a Sister
Let
Joni
us
out for
know.
you.
Yeah, we'll track down Sister
God love
Joner
her.
for you. And she won't talk to you. She'll just give you the 2-pager.
That was the best.
And you'll be all set.
That was the best. Anything you'd like to leave our listeners about this conversation here, or about
I
the
just want to
college?
say thank you so much, Jared, Lindsey. This was a wonderful discussion. I want to encourage our listeners that there is a way forward where all students can access post-secondary education no matter what. Just ask, because there is a way, and it's important because it makes a difference in that lifetime trajectory and in that community's trajectory. So we can do this together, right? Like, let's go, world. Like, let's just we can become just better and more thriving, and and lift everyone.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
If you like this episode, please like and share with someone who would find this interesting. We appreciate you listening to the American Classroom podcast today.
Thank you.
American Classroom is brought to you by Heritage Academy Mesa. Heritage Academy in Mesa, Arizona is a public charter school serving grades 7 through 12. Youth that come to Heritage are not just students, but scholars who are taught by the #1 rated faculty in Arizona. If you'd like to learn more about Heritage Academy Mesa, please visit heritageacademyaz.com and click Mesa.